The call came at 02:13. Her voice was fractured through static, muffled by fear. "Daddy, he locked me in the basement. 3 days, no food, no light. My daughter, 8 years old, whispering like a prisoner." I pressed the phone so hard to my ear it left an imprint. My pulse didn't rise, my breathing didn't change. 18 years in interrogation rooms had taught me how to swallow emotion until it turned into steel. I asked her one question: "Are you safe enough to keep speaking?" A pause, a whimper, then silence. The line cut. I didn't move for a full minute. The glow of the phone was the only light in my apartment. The city outside was alive, but I wasn't in it anymore. That call had taken me underground, back to the soundproof rooms, back to the smell of fear and the way lies cracked when pressed hard enough. The last time I'd stood in a courtroom, the judge had laughed at me. "A soldier?" he said. "Your wife's new husband is a senator, full custody to her." He smirked when the gavel fell. My daughter had been ripped from my hands with a ruling and a grin. Tonight, the laughter was gone. I replayed the past months like surveillance tape. The missed calls, the bruises my daughter never explained, the way her voice trembled when I asked if she was happy. I had wanted to believe the answers, because belief is easier than the weight of certainty. But certainty had a way of arriving uninvited, like tonight, like the words 3 days in the basement. My ex-wife had remarried quickly, too quickly. The senator with perfect teeth and perfect lies. The man the judge favored. The man who smiled for cameras while keeping his monsters locked in cellars. I had read his file long before the divorce. His name had passed across my desk in an unrelated operation. Financial discrepancies, undisclosed assets. But I closed the folder. I wanted my daughter to have stability, even if it meant silence. Now, silence had a cost. I poured a glass of water, held it in my hand, and didn't drink. I didn't need sleep, I needed clarity. I began the same way I had broken diplomats, traffickers, and men who thought secrets made them untouchable. Patterns, contacts, weakness, phone records, my ex-wife's number, her new husband's, the gaps in communication, 36-hour stretches where calls stopped, time when my daughter vanished into silence, bank transfers, wire amounts small enough to look invisible but not to me, shadow donations to lobby groups, money moving offshore through a shell company in Cyprus. Digital traces don't lie, they just wait to be found. I built a map on my wall, red threads connecting times, places, accounts. The senator's schedule merged with the absences of my daughter's voice. I could see the outline of a man who performed in daylight and destroyed in the dark. My reflection in the window didn't flinch. The storm was all inside. Outwardly, I looked calm. Inwardly, I was already dragging him into the chair across from me, the light fixed above, the silence pressing down until his pulse gave him away. I didn't need to confront him yet. I only needed to pull the string. The confrontation came not with fists, but with paper. Photographs slipped across the courtroom table like knives. My daughter's frail frame on a hospital bed. The senator's offshore accounts. Transcripts of phone calls he never thought could be retrieved. He broke faster than I expected. His voice rose, frantic, insisting it was lies. His wife's face drained. The judge's gavel struck harder, not out of authority, but fear. I remained still. My calm was the most violent thing in the room. The senator looked at me then, sweating, trembling. He recognized it. The silence of a man who already knew the ending. That night, he was taken. Not by me. I never laid a hand on him. All it took was one call, one voice saying a single word: activate. By morning, he was in an undisclosed location, a place I had designed years ago, where daylight never touched. He would answer questions now, not about policy, not about politics, but about every child he had silenced, every crime he had wrapped in immunity. The judge received the photos, not of the senator in the chair, but of me, uniformed, clearance level stamped across the top. The judge's hand shook as he read. He had ruled against a ghost he never understood. I didn't see my daughter immediately. That would come later. What mattered first was the silence, the knowledge that the lock on her basement door would never turn again. I walked out of the courthouse into cold air. The world moved as if nothing had shifted. People carried groceries, cars stopped at lights, laughter spilled from open windows. But I knew. The senator was erased. The judge understood who I was, and my daughter would never whisper fear into a phone again. I lit a cigarette I didn't need, watched the smoke curl upward, vanish. Control is not about rage, it's about patience, about waiting until the other man writes his own death sentence and simply handing him the pen. I dropped the cigarette, crushed it under my boot. "Your Honor," I whispered once more, but this time to no one at all, and I walked away.